Welcome along to Oulton Park for round 11 of the 2017 Mini 7 Challenge. It was a damp qualifying session. The circuit is drying, however, for the race, and the large crowd that's assembled as part of the Mini Festival here in Cheshire is looking forward to two races from the ever-popular Mini 7s. Let's guide you through the grid for the first race of the day. It's Charlie Budd on pole position and Darren Thomas alongside. The reigning champion Ashley Davis has last year's runner-up for company on row 2, Spencer Wanstall, and it's Lewis Selby and Joe Thompson on row 3. Paul Spark, a multiple former champion, has Sean Oulton, the leading S-Class car, on row 4, and it's Don Berger and Nick Croydon-Fowler who sit there on the 5th row of the grid. The green flag's waved at the tail end of the field. We're about to get this first race of the day underway here at Oulton Park, and as the lights come on, they flash their way off now, and the cars start to charge their way up towards Old Hall Corner for the first time. A good start from pole sitter Charlie Budd, but the green car to his left-hand side, Darren Thomas, is looking to go with him, and as they head up towards Old Hall Corner, they're side by side through the right-hander. Charlie Budd, the championship leader, 3 times a winner this year. Darren Thomas there in second place. Chris Blackwell-Frost runs wide. It looks like Leon Window has to take avoidance, and there's contact between Chris Blackwell-Frost's car and Tim Stambridge, and that is 2 cars that are surely out of the race on the spot at Old Hall Corner. The race continues though as they head downhill in towards the Knickerbrook area of the circuit. Tim Stambridge jumping out of the number 11 car. There was just nowhere for him to go. He tried to swerve to the left, but unfortunately Chris Blackwell-Frost's car came back across in front of him as we're side by side through Knickerbrook. That's Lewis Selby, door handle to door handle with Ashley Davis as they start to climb up Clay Hill and up towards a daunting area of Druids, but the cars are easing the pace, and I can see hands appearing out of windows, which suggests safety car is coming out, because Chris Blackwell-Frost just needs a little bit of assistance to get out of his car. So the safety car sits there on the start-finish line, and what should be 27 cars that remain in the race following poor old Chris Blackwell-Frost and Tim Stambridge coming together at turn 1 head under safety car conditions at Oulton Park. The safety car heading round, Darren Thomas is the lead car, as those involved in the incident on the exit of Old Hall Corner are now being moved safely out of harm's way. So marshals on hand, sweeping up being done. Removal of number 99 car of Chris Blackwell-Frost as good as completed. Lights out on safety car, which means Darren Thomas is going to be able to get this race back underway. Charlie Budd in second place will look to try and go with him. And as they now turn their way through what is Lodge Corner, Darren Thomas is about to get the race back underway. Charlie Budd is going with him though, as is Spencer Wanstall in 3rd place. It's Ashley Davis in 4th, Lewis Selby in the purple and black car there in 5th place. Then there's a little bit of a gap before we see the white car with its red roof. That's Joe Thompson, son of Paul Thompson, another former champion in this series, fighting away with the 4 times former champion Paul Spark. So they turn their way out of what is Old Hall Corner, down the avenue, on towards Denton's, with Charlie Budd looking to try and slipstream his way through and past Darren Thomas into the lead of the race. Spencer Wanstall's trying around the outside as well, but it's Charlie Budd as they head down in towards Foster's that takes up the lead of the race, and Darren Thomas just manages to hang on to second place, but absolutely trying to get up his inside is Spencer Wanstall. So great racing from the Mini 7s yet again. Up towards Knickerbrook they'll go. Darren Thomas still managing to hang on to second place, so there's nothing doing for Spencer Wanstall at this stage. He has to tuck himself back into 3rd, and now Darren Thomas, with a better exit coming out of what was Brook, has managed to get himself back into the lead of the race once more. Charlie Budd is down into 2nd position, and now it looks as though the fight is most certainly on for 3rd and 4th. Joe Thompson is side by side with Paul Spark, the 4 times champion, all the way around the outside at Druids Corner. They're now all trying to hug the right-hand side of the circuit, which is the inside line for Lodge, but it is Darren Thomas that leads. It is Charlie Budd in 2nd place, and that is Ashley Davis going around the outside of Spencer Wanstall as they fight over 3rd and 4th place. Lewis Selby has got Joe Thompson for company. Paul Spark is the grey car at the back end of this train of what is now 7 cars for the lead of the race, and Darren Thomas looking to try and make good his escape. He's had 3 wins so far this year. For Charlie Budd, he might lead the championship, but he's not had a win so far this year. He's been on the podium in most of the races. Spencer Wanstall sideways coming out of Old Hall Corner. Lewis Selby follows him onto the grass. They have to tuck themselves back into the train once more, which means that Ashley Davis has gone through and the grey car of Paul Spark has gone through. Now Paul Spark is sideways, and very, very sideways, heading up towards Foster's all over the grass. Tries to get the car back under control. You can see a little ding in the door. Not sure whether there was contact. I think it was because he ran wide and just put the tail end of the car onto the grass, but gathers it up. And now we've still got 7 cars fighting for the lead, because it looks as though Dan Budd has decided with all of that he wants to join in the fun. And Paul Spark now is trying to carve his way back through 2 wheels on the grass as he squeezes his way through and past Don Berger. I think that's Paul Spark's old championship winning car that he's just been able to squeeze his way through and past. Again, we're side by side heading round through Druids in what are ever worsening conditions now here at Oulton Park. Charlie Budd goes around the outside of Spencer Wanstall to take up second position, then tries to pick up the toe from Darren Thomas. More and more wipers coming on the cars as the rain starts to fall, but it's Darren Thomas at least. Charlie Budd second, Spencer Wanstall in third place. Lewis Selby now ahead of Ashley Davis. Has to briefly get off the gas, does Lewis Selby. Spencer Wanstall slows in front. There was then a little bit of contact between the tail end of Lewis Selby's car and the front end of Ashley Davis. Over the start-finish line they'll go. There's a spin coming out of Lodge for Ian Briscoe and another spin also for Kevin O'Shea. The dampening conditions catching out both Ian Briscoe and Kevin O'Shea, who I suspect was probably a little bit unsighted as well. And two cars sitting in the middle of the circuit is not the best thing to have happen, as Darren Thomas, still with the race continuing, is under pressure from Charlie Budd. He's the championship leader, but he's not had a win so far this year, whereas for Darren Thomas, he's had a couple, and at the moment, he's on course for win number 3 if he can hang on to his position. Arms coming out of windows, red flags are being shown. I'm not surprised, because two cars in a dangerous position, Ian Briscoe and Kevin O'Shea, who both came to grief in the worsening conditions coming out of Lodge Corner. So the marshals on hand to scoop up the bits of Mini that have strewn themselves around the circuit. And what a shame that the race has had to be brought to a premature halt, but Darren Thomas will be delighted with what was his third victory of the season so far. It's been an up and down season for Darren Thomas. Hasn't appeared at all of the rounds and has either gone very well or has gone very poorly and had retirement. So it's an update today. Good news for Darren Thomas, his third victory of the season as the cars make their way past the incident up at Lodge Corner and into the paddock area, ready for what will be the second race coming up a little bit later on. Confirmation of the results then, it's a win for Darren Thomas with Charlie Budd in second place and Spencer Wanstall in third. The reigning champion, Ash Davis, down there in fourth place ahead of Lewis Selby and Paul Spark. Joe Thompson, Dan Budd, Sean Talton and Don Berger complete the top 10, but for Sean Talton in ninth place, he's the winner of the Mini 7S class. The drivers head to the podium, so time to hear from the top 3.
It was a shame it got cut short, but yeah, it was lucky for me.
Yeah, well, it's very difficult conditions at times. Certainly if you were racing in this, it would be difficult. Do you have wet and dry tyres incidentally?
We do, and as soon as the rain come out, you notice you want the wets on it. It was really slippy.
Hey, it's a shame because it's such great racing, isn't it?
Yeah, it could have been a really nice race. It was all a group of us together, but a shame really.
Yeah, it was good. It's the 3 laps we had were brilliant, to be honest. But yeah, the rest of it was pretty tame underneath under the safety car. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a dry one in the next race and be able to finish this one.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I would have carried on a bit longer if it was my choice. You know, I've got the all grass background. I'm used to a bit of a slippery surface. So
you're going to be happy with the race days for the rest of the day?
Yeah, if it stays wet, it's happy days for me. But if it goes dry, then hopefully happy days as well.